afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, March 27, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night, Friday, the 28th of March, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Pick one day where you are going to create more freedom in your life by meeting your fear with fascination and whatever may happen to you in these short 24 hours. Do not let any fear shrink you, yet allow it to move through you in such a way that it creates a transformation inside you. Breathe into your fear and welcome it. And when you say yes to it, it will shift before your very eyes. If you can maintain this commitment to yourself for this one day, you might just believe by evening time that you are one of the most fortunate, sacred, and amazing beings who are alive on this planet. Now, the possibility for any of us of living in doubt, skepticism, and resistance to this life will always be there. And each moment, they can sneak in and take on many, or one disguise, or many different disguises. It doesn't mean that you have to pay attention to it. You can choose to ignore any fearful energy of or feeling that you sense growing inside you and breathe beyond it. You take a look underneath the contracted fear-based energy and you'll see that it's an angel in disguise, simply here to help you create deeper roots of love. And what it does is that these anxiety, fear, stress, worry, all that stuff that we all at times are immersed in, they have a sacred job in our lives to make sure we don't die without feeling ridiculously alive. Is if we are not pouncing on our life's mission, taking the risk to open our heart to love every day, believing in the impossible, and reaching for the miraculous, then they can come in, right? But what they will do, they'll do their job, and what happens is they start eating at you. And we need some fear base to be there. We do not have to live in it. If our world was completely without the concept of it, we would be zombies. There would be no courage or vigilance of awareness. So you see, we always have to have the yin-yang, the balance. Say, you can't have the same identical and have it be yin and yang. It's the opposite. It's dark, light, light, dark, love, hate, happiness, sadness, but it's in everything. The yin and yang is the balance of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, forever. It's just like I've used the analogy that in a bright room, a bright light, you're going to see, you can find dark particles. And in a dark room, pitch black, can't see your hand in front of your face, you can find light particles. So you see, there's a balance to everything. Now, right now on this planet, we have an imbalance that is being corrected. What's the imbalance? We have too much dark. And I don't mean like, sunlight or that type of thing. We have so much low frequency that's invaded this planet for so very long that the balance is not there. We don't have that that sacred balance. We've been kind of lopsided for quite a long time as a civilization, and as things have progressed on this planet through lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. And so what we are doing now is collectively we're increasing our vibrational frequencies, and the higher they go, the more balance is brought in. And when you have this dark, evil, disruptive frequency, it begins to wane because the light energy and the higher frequencies begin to flood in and take over. And then eventually you have a balance. Light to dark, dark to light. And so none of this stuff goes on because it's a checkmate. Dark cannot go any further, right? It can't go any further than meet the light. Light can't go any further to meet it will meet the dark. So there, in between that, there's a line, and that line is bliss. Right? You can visualize that. It's bliss. Now, when we step over, which all of us have been there, I mean, we're not exempt from it. When we step over that, we go through that, and we're in the lower dark matter frequency. But then we begin to become more aware, and we move ourselves out of it. And we got to go back in it, and we move out of it. And then eventually we don't go into it anymore. So when you see so much conflict on a planet, and you see that it seems to be on a continual basis somewhere, shape or form, on this planet, in it, above it and below it, then we know there's an imbalance. It's a frequency imbalance. Is there a lot of love going on when there is a conflict, a war? Right? No. What's going on? Well, it's a very irregular, it's a high imbalance of the frequencies. See, because it isn't our natural state of being. You picture that. You've got thousands, right, of gods in physical form. Most of them have no clue that they're a god in the body. They believe they're the body, and that's why they have fear, worry about dying. Okay? So they go into this conflict, and imagine the frequency. Fear, anger, frustration, anxiety. It goes on and on and on. That's what we go through when we're in these conflicts. And the reason why it's so disruptive for us is because it isn't our natural state of being. What's our natural state of being? The opposite. Peace, tranquility, benevolence, kindness, generosity, humbleness. That's our natural state of being, not fighting each other. Or even, see, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to happen through violence, you know what I mean? Physical harm. It can happen through emotional harm. And so it causes a lot of damage along the way. This is why you have, some of us will be in conflict, and then we come out and we have what they call post-traumatic stress syndrome, which makes not a lot of sense. And you're in an area of trauma, is what it is, really. PTSD is you're in an envelope of trauma, and it isn't a natural state of being, so it makes it even more difficult to embrace it and forgive it and surrender it and then move on. That's why, before they even called it PTSD, it was in World War II, World War I, Revolutionary War, Civil War, War of 1812, Vietnam War. We could go on and on because there's always a war going on this planet. Now, a natural state of being is the opposite of that. So we wouldn't engage in conflict. We won't when we're in heart-mindedness. It just won't be there. There's no motivation or reason to. And see, that affects the entire civilization. What does it do? It moves them into higher frequency. And they start emitting more higher and higher frequency. So they elevate themselves more and more. And then it gets to the point where it has nothing, there's no conflict, there's no interest in it. There's love for oneself and all life. Okay? There's love for oneself and all life. Now, you wouldn't believe that you look at a rock and say, well, that rock's not alive. But when you look really closely at its molecular structure, it does have movement. So it is, in a way, not like so much like the bodies we're in, but in a way it's alive. Okay? Now, of course, man-made things are, they have molecules, okay? Matter. So you have it appears solid, whatever it is. But if you looked at it through a highly advanced spectrometer, you would be able to detect molecules moving around within that material. So is there anything that is like a drywall or a doorway or a tree, whatever? You look at the molecular structure of it, it's energy. It's what it is. It's energy. And energy takes on billions and trillions of different kinds of forms. And we're part of that energy field. All of us. We don't identify it. We just kind of pass by it. That we're all intimately connected on an eternal journey. A journey that never ends. That we are omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. That we can create anything we choose to create. We can manifest anything we choose to manifest. We can stay as young as we choose to stay young just by knowing this. Now you can see why so much effort has been put forth to keep us almost like in a mental stasis, where we as a civilization are kept in this stasis so that we never ever truly discover who and what we are. You see what I mean? Now that's worked from the lower dark matter controllership of the planet. It's worked quite well, hasn't it? Because we haven't fully discovered who and what we are in these bodies. What would happen? What will happen when we do? Then it's up for all of them. It's over. And you're seeing parts of that come into fruition right now. That there's things that people are seeing. It's kind of called, planting seeds into the brain. And the seeds will grow, and more awareness will be born out of that. And the awareness is that, look at this. Now, a lot of people had an inclination, or they were guessing and feeling and saying, something's not right. The way these structures are run, the pseudo false governments, how they operate and how they take forever to do things. Why is it? Because they're incompetent. Mostly buffoonery. But their modus operandi is to what? What is it to do? they're parasitical existences that are living off of the civilization. That's the best way to describe it. Parasitical organisms living off of the civilization. Because it's all they know. They do not have the diversity that we do at all. So they're pigeonholed, and so they can only go one direction. But 99.9% of the time, they can only go one direction. What's that direction? More of the same. We don't. We're much more diverse, believe it or not. We branch out. They are an anti-civilization. We are a civilization of the universe. What's the difference? Anti-civilizations end up destroying themselves. Civilizations of the universe prosper, grow, advance at a very highly accelerated rate. Huge difference. And when we begin to identify things as we're on this how we view, right? How we view our lives, our happiness, where are we at with discovering the gods we are in the body? In the judgment, it is an awareness. It's like you ask yourself, where am I at right now with true heart-mindedness, discovering the God that I am within this body? Right? See, because when we've been taught that we're always alone so much, so to speak. You can be with a crowd of people, but you feel you're alone, right? But that's the society, the human psyche, which is the society. That isn't truthful. You're never alone. Can't be. Can't be alone. Now, you may think that you are. Like when in this meditation, when you relax, you're in a comfortable position, you're relaxing into the body, you have no outside interference, you're still as a statue, you're focused on your breath rising and falling. Do you believe you're alone? You're not. You're with the God that you are. The God is in the silence, not in all the noise. Because there are a lot of us on this planet that are done with all this rhetoric. And we've learned a lot, believe it or not. A lot of people have learned a lot of things from watching this on what is transpiring. And on a global scale, it's basically, it goes much farther than what you're seeing in front of your face. It is, you take a planet that otherwise would have been completely destroyed into dust. You reverse that evil. You capture that evil, you contain it, and then you dismiss it. Which then allows for the higher light vibrations to come in, where we begin to advance more and more and go into higher vibrational existence by choice, where we then begin to realize that we have no limits, that we're omnipotently powerful beings, and that everything we have been taught, for the most part, is not truthful. So it motivates us in a way, because it's like you're exploring the seven seas, and you come across different things that surprise you, excite you, sometimes frighten you. But that's what this journey is about. Liberation of this planet. How is that possible when we've seen so much evil. How can that be? How can that be happening? Because the ego mind's trying to tell you that, oh, it's not really happening. But it is. Who's doing it? We are. The gods that we are. Collectively. And not just this planet, but all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, forever. The focus is to liberate this planet. And all of the civilizations. Because there's more than one. There's a surface population which is intermixed and intermingled with hybrids and different others from off-worlder civilizations. And then there's a whole slew of others that live beneath our feet. Highly advanced technologically, and not confrontational. And so we've just decided collectively, as a collective consciousness, is to eliminate this blight from this planet. That's what it is. It's a blight, right? Because it's been so that it's convinced all of us to believe that, well, we're weak and we're not this and we're not that, and we've got to be subservient. They're the power. We're not the power. All those things. Which is not truthful. We're actually the opposite. What do you believe will start happening? That those of us through heart-mindedness begin to embrace the fact that we are, always have been, always will be, forever, beyond, and ever. Omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. When the majority of the civilization that is still here begins to embrace that, you will see a complete shift in this planet and all life that interacts with this planet. And the shift will be what? Your attention will be on the love that you are within that body. That's where it will be. That's your focus. And when the majority of us, because that's what is in the process, the majority of us embrace the heart-minded and not the ego mind. And we begin to master the ego mind and master our thoughts, and we move into heart-mindedness more and more and more and more and more. So most of the time we end up being in heart-mindedness, very little of the time are we in ego mind. And then eventually we're in ego mind at all. And that's when ego mind bows out. I mean, we needed it to get us to that point. We would have never gotten to this point if we didn't have ego mind. And this point of comprehension is saying, okay, now it's time for me to move further onward, upward, onward. Now, one might say, well, what's going to happen if you don't have the ego mind anymore? We have the comparison. We know what that was about. See, we do not need to get violent. We do not need to be confrontational anymore. We don't need to worry, stress, and fear anymore. And that's what that whole ego mind thing was about. Worry, stress, fear. We won't do that. We won't have, I'll give you an example. We won't have weapons to cause destruction. Why won't we? We won't need them. If something that's evil enters our planetary field, we will collectively, as a people, will immediately pick up on the fact that their direction is aggressive. Okay? So they won't be able to enter or interact with us. will be able to enter the planet atmosphere and interact with us. Pretty simple. No matter how powerful, no matter how big of a war machine the civilization that's trying to get into our planet and take us over, won't make any difference. They won't be able to enter our atmosphere. Because we're not interested in conflict. Because you know why? We mastered it. We're not interested in it anymore because we mastered it. Now, the other species have not, obviously. We have. At that stage, we'll have mastered it. We know what it is. We know its heartbeat. We know its nucleus. We know every inch, every which way. And the progression is phenomenal. And what are we witnessing right now? The end of evil on this planet. Like I said, there's still going to be dark particles in the light. But no more this imbalance, this huge imbalance on this planet. And we all feel it. And it doesn't mean that the majority of the lives on this planet are violent. In fact, most of us are benevolent. We're not interested in violence. We're not interested in any of it. That's a good thing. And we're not embracing that as a people on how far we have evolved. See, because more and more of us on this planet in this very now moment are not interested in conflict. Cripe, we've had thousands of lifetimes where we swam in conflict. And we aren't interested. How do you learn? By being in the same thing for thousands of years. How do you get to the point where you don't learn anymore? Because you've learned every aspect, every angle, inside and out, like we have through thousands of lifetimes. So then what do? We become aware enough to say, okay, we're going to move on from this. And we're not interested in any of this stuff. We've been there, we've done that, we're deeply grateful for the experience of it through several lifetimes, and we're not interested in it anymore. And that may sound kind of popcornish, but it really is the truth. We're not, and you can see on the planet when you step back and you watch. You can see it is evident. Oh yeah, there's engineered situations. Okay. But spontaneous? No. Little bit? Yeah. Lot? No. And yes, there are those of us who are still in the dark path because we have no clue. We believe that. We believe. See, the opposite of what we believe is what those that are asleep, they believe the opposite of what we believe. This is why we get the eye roll and all this stuff, and relatives and love, and they think you're crazy, or oh boy, here we go again. But now, you're not doing anything. It's being revealed. It's coming right out. It's being right in their faces. And now there's those people that I guarantee you. Maybe some of them are not brave enough yet. But I guarantee they're going, you know what? They were right. They were talking about this stuff 3, 4, 5 years ago. Here it is. They're right. The old must go before the new can come in. See? This is what we're in right now. The old must be removed in order for the new to come in. We've learned that through thousands of lifetimes. You have a garage so packed full of stuff, you have no clue what's there because you haven't touched it in a long time. You have no idea what's in that garage. And you go, it's overwhelming because look at all this stuff. I got to get to it sooner or later. And you just kind of walk by it. And then eventually what happens is that you say, we should just have a garage sale. We got to clear this stuff out of here. And, that's how we ended up in this country having garage sales. A lot of the times it was, for people to make money. But it started just to get rid of stuff. How are we going to get rid of it? Well, hey, one man's junk is another man's treasure. And so it caught on. And so you get people having garage sales, and people come by and say, I really like this. How much you want for this? Yeah, well, what's the price on there? I'll give it to you for blah, blah, blah. Fun. It's fun. Going over antiques and that type of thing, and rummage sales, that type of thing. Those are all fun things. And then we clear out the garage. And it's spick and span. And now we can bring in the new stuff. This is exactly what's happening right in front of our eyes in our country. And you hear me talk a lot about focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So what are we focusing on? We're focusing on, for the first time in well over a century, we're going to have our country back, and it's going to be way beyond what it ever was. But we will not ever be complacent again as a people. We will scrutinize things. We are the bosses. We do have that responsibility for our country and each other, is to scrutinize things. If we aren't happy with something that is pretty blatant, and we should exercise our strength and ability to say, hey, you're not going to do that anymore. You're done. Get out of here. Because it affects many of us. Some of these creatures cause a lot of harm, not just to a few of us, but a lot of us. And that's going to stop. Because we don't care to have it around anymore. That means a new financial system. Is there going to be some bumps there? Well, yeah, there always are, isn't there? I mean, we're not ignorant to that fact in all the lifetimes we've experienced. We say that kind of comes with it. And then we embrace the very fact of what? You can feel it. Can't you feel it? In the center of your chest. It's like a bliss. It's not there. It's there, but then it's gone. It's there, then it's gone. You say to yourself, I feel the God that I am within this body. You feel the God that you are. And it's a phenomenal feeling. And then you say, what am I? I'm focused on what I want in this life. And I'm deeply grateful for the life that I have, because I don't know how long I'll be in this body. Everything is perfect exactly the way it is. So I focus on what I want. I don't put my energies into something that is negatory. Okay? We know the difference between negative and positive as far as we're concerned, and how we look and view things in this life. We know what that is. And we also know that we make a choice. Okay, so I'm not going to swim in the negative pool. I'm going to swim in the positive pool. That's my decision. And when you get around people that are super negative, why be around them? Okay? Why be around them? You're interested in attracting people that are on the same page as you, so to speak, that are focused on what they want and enjoying life. And we're leaving it behind. We're not ignoring it because we've been immersed in it for a very long time. We've just decided to leave it. Leave it. We're done with it. We're going to build a new earth, infrastructure, people, society, the financial system. It's all new stuff. Some people get frightened about new things because it scares them. Okay, that's ego mind. But other people are saying, "Hey, let's go with it. Let's look at it. Let's all collectively figure that, okay, this looks good for us." Okay, that's crucial. In the quiet time of this meditation, what do you focus on? You view this planet on how you would like to see it. Okay? Through your heart mind. Do it. View this planet on how you would like to see it. Be amazed on what you come up with. And then focus on that, and then send that out to the universe and surrender it. You'd be amazed on what transpires. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out.
Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Do not do your ordinary daily routine today. Instead, mix it up. Do something completely out of the blue. Jump into the extraordinary moment of your life. Now is where you discover that you are divine consciousness. Relax. Do not be anywhere special. Being nowhere is the greatest thing you can do to start being nowhere, or now here. Take this with you for the rest of the day, to the evening and night, the following morning. And we will return here Friday, March 28, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our reverse aging health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.